Hey there and welcome to a Garden Solutions top tip. So we're in the noisy town of Hertfordshire today. And today we're just going to do a tip about when you have that issue where you're moving house or you want to change some layouts in your garden. And for instance, we have this fruit tree here. You want to lift it out of the ground, but you don't want to damage it, so it'll be ready to go into either a pot if you're doing a small like patio fruit tree or a small dwarf tree. There's a couple of things we would look at when we're doing it. So there's a couple of differences. Fruit trees and shrubs are very different. So what we have is with a fruit tree stems and roots kind of carry out over a few kind of core root stems, and there's two types of roots we're looking for. We've got the main heavy roots, these are the nutrient roots, and then you've got the very fine roots, the kind of white coloured roots, these are the water roots. Now with the water roots, if you break a few of them, it's not a problem. If you've got a heavy big root and you snap one of them, that could be a big problem for the tree, because that's where all the information for the tree is coming from. That's where it's telling it what it needs to do. So when you're actually going to lift one of these, it's all about planning. So the main thing is you've got your main root stock down here, and what you want to do is make sure you don't go too deep on it. You don't want to get too close to it, because you're most likely going to snap. Now this one has already been lifted to make it a little bit easier to demonstrate, but basically the principle is you work your way from the outside using a digging fork. Don't use a spade. Push down, do a little bit of movement. What we're looking for is movement of the tree and any potential resistance, and you do this the whole way around. Little bit of movement all the way around. Now this has obviously been worked already. Actually, don't dig your fork straight back through the root. Now once you've done that, what you should be able to do is start to move this around. Don't go too heavy. What you're going to find out is kind of see which areas are bulging. This will give you an idea on the root. And then try to do a mild excavation. I'm using a patio blade here. Now what you don't want to do is do this straight down. This is going to cause damage to the roots. We don't want to do that. So we're going to use it just to mainly excavate soil away from the base. We're going to be nice and gentle on it. Now, as I said, I've already lifted this. And to give you an example of just how much root there is, following this fruit tree, this long stem across the bottom here actually ended up all the way over by this tree at the back here. So this is a massive long root, about that long. I'm going to hold it there because it may fall. I'm going to lift this out now. So this is the root stock from a fruit tree. Very different to a shrub. We're going to lift a shrub in a second as well and show you what that one looks like. But basically what you've got here is you've got all these main stems over. Now in this case, the water stems or the water roots are actually coming straight off, so it's pulling it all in at the same time off these long roots. When you repot it, just make sure you don't bunch these over. They will snap very easily. So when you get it into a new ground position, or if you're going to put it into a pot, be gentle to wrap that round and then obviously firm out the soil once you've got it into the new pot ground. Let's go and have a look at what a shrub looks like when you pull that one out of the ground. Okay, so this one we have here, we've got a lovely little shrub. This is a skimia. So what we're going to do, this I haven't done any pre-real work to. I've just loosened it slightly, but I've not had a chance to check it over. So we're going to do this together. Same principle as we did with the fruit tree. Just going to dig down using the garden fork. Don't use a spade. Spade will slice the roots if there are any. This is more likely to go round the roots. Again, we're just going to give it a little couple of forwards, couple of backs. I'm listening for a cracking sound. If there's a cracking sound, I know I've hit a root. I'm also trying to feel for the resistance of the actual plant. This is not the best area to do one of these demos, as there's a lot of car traffic here. Once you've gone all the way around, we've got a bit of resistance there. Now that could be the root from here, so I've got to be careful. I've got another fruit tree here, and we've got roots coming from there, so I need to keep an eye on that. Okay. So I felt a little bit of resistance there. So what I'm going to now do, hands and knees down to the base. So I'm not going to pull from up here. I'm going to pull from around the base area, get my hands, and then just give it a little bit of a lever and see what's going. Now there's a little bit more resistance than I'd like there. So what I'm going to have to do, bear with me one sec. Tip for a video in the future, always make sure you have your tools to hand. I'm going to just move some of this soil from around the back, because that's where I can feel the pull. And my thought here is that this is going to be potentially from the fruit tree. but we'll wait and see. I've tried to give it quite a large space where I've dug out rather than really tight, because obviously I'll hit too many roots that way. Roots don't tend to just go down, they tend to spread. I can see lots of roots down here. So I'm gently excavating them as I go around. Might do a bit of a fast forward on this bit, just while I'm doing it. I can see the main root ball and I can see the main sort of stems of the roots here. So I think I've got the edges. This is kind of nice loose soil. There's one root here I've kind of just hit. It's a long root. I would say that's from the fruit tree, so I'm not too worried about that. I will have to excavate that anyway, but right now that's not the biggest of my problems when trying to get it, unless it's going through the skimmer. So let me see if I can get it. That's it, it's clear. Just quickly go around the edges here. I feel that that's probably got it. Oh, this is where you hit your microphone. Right, so as I lift it, what I'm looking for is where the soil's moving and what roots are going where. Yeah, so what's happened here is that the roots from the skimmer are basically wrapped around the fruit tree one, so I've got to be careful here. I don't want to damage the fruit tree. I'm not as worried with this skimmer, and I'll explain a little bit more why once we get the actual root block out. The root ball on this is quite a tight root ball. Right. There's that one. Okay, just a little bit more excavation at the back here. Again, very tricky because I'm working around. I've got this lovely big tree here that's got roots going through. I've got a fruit tree that's got roots going through it, and I'm trying to get the roots of this one out. I'm not excavating this big thing. That's a future one. Oh, okay, that's lucky. It's a water root. Now luckily with these, if you do break one of the main stem roots, it's not the end of the world for a small shrub. Now for a fruit tree it probably would be, because fruit trees don't have as many roots. Something like this, what will happen is if you break one of the single stems, possibly one little small section will die. All these little trunks that are coming off the base of the skimmer all have their own kind of feed route, so you'll find what tends to happen is if you break part of the root, part of the skimmer will come through. Now, here we go, there's the last of it. So that's coming off of something else. So basically we've got a few water roots left in the soil. Yeah, that's from something completely else. Okay. So we did break one, unfortunately. It does happen. But if we don't break all of it, so I'm just going to go through this. So what we've got here is these are your main instructional roots. These tell the plant what to do, how to grow, etc. So we've got a few of those. We did, as I said, break one here. And then we've got a few more here. So possibly what might happen here is one of these trunks might have struggle, or it may start to re-support itself. These little fine whiter ones, all these little small bits, these are not really anything that's going to give you information. These are your water plants. So these are the roots that are going to pull the water through. If you break a lot of these, it's actually not a massive issue because they will just push more ones through. So these ones, if you do break this sort of stuff, don't worry too much about that. It should be fine overall. But what we'll now do is we'll get this into some lovely soil, get this into a pot, ready to go to another location. If you're not going to plant it straight away, which we're not in this case, get it into a pot. Keep it nice and secure for the first time and keep an eye on it for the first few days. Don't put too much additional feed on it unless it's in its growth season, because also it's obviously quite susceptible right now. We're doing quite a lot of, I wouldn't say damage, but we're distressing the plant at this point. So look after your plants, get this into another pot, keep it nice and contained. Don't try and replant it then. Give it a few weeks to let it sort of settle down before you try and replant if you can't do it straight away. And that's our top tip from Garden Solutions. Thank you for watching the video. Please check out the other videos on the channel, and thank you for watching.